a completely different list of people, and we really appreciate. We thank you for taking the time to learn everything about psychotherapy, and most especially today, learning about dating and courtship. This is a discussion that is long overdue. It has been asked for over and over again. And finally, thank you, Madam, for giving us the opportunity to learn about this as well. So maybe we can just take this time to introduce ourselves at least, or maybe we can do the introduction in the discussion. Just to give you a few of the house rules, or rather how we are going to be doing this. In case of any questions, please feel free to actually write your messages or write your questions either on Facebook, because I understand we're on Facebook Live right now, or you can actually do the questions here on the Zoom call. You can just do it on the chat, or maybe you can just like chat the contact that you are given today for the registration where you got the link from. Once again, we appreciate you, we appreciate your time, and maybe we can have Madam Anne introduce herself, and then we can get right into the discussion for the night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This is Salem Consultants Psycho Therapy or Psychoeducation Forum. Our intention for this session is that we will be able to grow mentally and just be able to be more productive in our work, in our work, in our families, in even as we go about our life, that we can be able to grow and become better. The greatest challenge that we are facing as a people today is a situation where we are having people who are having a myriad of challenges, mental health issues, and some of them are things that can be able to be sorted and can be able to be prevented. So much of what this conversation will do is help us to do prevention. How can we be able to prevent so that we don't get ourselves in situations that are affecting our future, they are affecting the life of our children in the future. Of course, I want to believe most of us who are here are young people. So how can we be able to take care of take good measures even before we step into a situation where we get lost, and we are now dealing with issues in the future that we would have dealt with now. So much of what we will be discussing is that. So even when we'll be talking about dating and courtship, it's more of what are some of the precautions? What are some of the things I need to know even before I get to this space? I was told to introduce myself. Sorry, I began by introducing the show, the session. My name is Anne Karambu. I am a counseling psychologist, also with a background in nutrition and dietetics. So I'm also a nutritionist, and I also have a background in food technology. I am an author. I have written a number of books, and I'm also a coach and a mentor. Above everything else that I said, I am born again. Christ is Lord. Been married for the last 18 years. This is my 18th year in marriage. So, of course, it's my desire that I can be able to share the few nuggets that I was able to use in my time when I was where we are at, or even just being able to back up the information that we already have on these matters. But much of it is I want to just align all these issues that we'll be discussing in these sessions in line with our mental wellness. So our desire is that we can be able to grow so that we can be able to become more productive in our lives. So thank you so much, everyone that has been able to join us. I know others will be joining us as we continue, and those that are joining us online, thank you so much for accepting to be part of this. So thank you. Emmy, I would want maybe to take it back to you so that we can just get into the topic. and begin our conversation.
Thank you so much, Madam Kay, for that introduction, for letting us know who Salem Consultants is. Today we have a very interesting topic. We are discussing dating and courtship. This is one of the discussions that I know many people need to know as much information about. So thank you for taking the time to actually share with us what you know so that we can actually have healthier relationships moving forward. So most of us are actually from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm sure we have had such statements as dating in Nairobi is you have to be ready to get out of a relationship anytime, ndio uoge urudi soko. We have heard of statements like everybody shares in Nairobi. We have had statements like this is one big bedroom. We have had statements like you have to have a little toxicity in a relationship so that you can spice things up or make the relationship as interesting as possible. So today we would like to discuss as many of these things so that we can actually have the truth and we can actually be able to have as healthy relationships as possible and leave the toxicity behind. So, Madam K, maybe you can begin by telling us what dating and courtship is, what the difference is, and what the purpose of dating and courtship is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe I'll begin by explaining a little bit why are we having this topic on dating and courtship. It's because of the many misconceptions that are there out there, and unfortunately, we take the aspect of marriage and the aspect of getting into a relationship like a joke. And of course, many young people get into this space with little information or with little knowledge about the same, only to find themselves in a space where you cannot be able to really heal the situation. Lately, we have seen young people as young as 20, 15, even teenagers who are in high school. We have seen many young people being killed in the name of relationships. So it is such an important topic, yet it is a topic that has not been made important. So it is one of the areas that we get into with very little knowledge, yet it is the most important part of our life. It is so important that we cannot afford to get into it with ignorance. But unfortunately, many of our young people get into the space of relationships ignorantly. The next thing is, of course, relationships are seen as an entertainment, as a way of entertainment. This is where we are coming from. Young people from around the age of 13 all the way to 25, it is like a fun zone. You can have as much fun as you want. The truth is that life being that it is not a rehearsal. Even as I am having fun, all these things are having an impact in my life. They are having an impact in my future. They are having an impact in who I will become in the future. And they're also having an impact on even the kind of family I will begin. On top of that, even how I will raise my children, yet I do not have them when I am a teenager. So although it is looked at as something that we can have fun about, there is really no fun in it. The truth is that every single decision we make, every wrong relationship we get into, every date we go to and it goes wrong, it has an impact over my life. The worst part of it is, of course, the mental impact that it leaves us with. And no wonder then we are also having it almost becoming fatal, which was not meant to be. So again, the other challenge we are facing is that, of course, awareness. How much are we how much do we know on this topic? Who talks to us? Where do we get information from? Is it that once I turn a teenager, 12, 13, I can dive into these topics. I can do anything I want without guidance. And sometimes even when guidance is there, sometimes we are not willing to take it because of the fun, and I'll put it in quote because there is really no fun in it. Because of the fun involved, I want to also belong. So in the process, many people get into a space which we really do not understand. So the question was, what is dating? Dating is simple. It is just a date. It is setting up a time to meet a person of the opposite sex just to get to know them better. Now, dating is not courtship. The only challenge with today is that we have mixed courtship and dating together to the point that we cannot be able to differentiate the two. So when you're dating, you can be able to date 2 to 3 people, because here you are just doing sampling. If I'm allowed to use that word, it is sampling. I want to know a person better so that I can know, can I allow this person into my life? So that is the purpose of dating. During dating, there are things I cannot get deeper into exposing who I am to that person, because the truth is, at that level, you've not been able to know each other well. You are still at the level of just getting to know each other. Now, the problem we are having in our time is at the point of dating. Remember, we said it is sampling. At the point of dating, you've met a person for the first and the second day, and on the third day or on the second week or the third week, you're already having a sexual relationship. Now, sexual sampling is not part of dating. It is a recipe for destroying my own life. Because the truth is, this person was just sampling. They were not serious on the fact that they want to know you. So the moment we expose ourselves sexually at the point of dating, then we have gone too far. Then now, what is courtship? Now, courtship is when I have chosen that this is the particular person that I want to allow into my life. After I'm done doing the sampling, I can now engage into a romantic relationship, a relationship that is a little bit more intimate, still not sexual. I can get to know the person more. I can now start introducing this person even to closer friends or family. And it is with a deeper intention of a long-term relationship. A relationship maybe that would now result into marriage. So that is courtship. That can happen after you have had a connection, or you have had a relationship with you have dated that person for some time, gotten to know that maybe you share values, you share aspirations, intellectually you can connect. For those of us who are born again, it is key that this person is also godly, that you share the godly values. Now you can choose, I can now take this relationship to the next level. So that is the much I can give as a definition. The problem we are having today, and this has caused a great confusion among the young people, is that we have combined dating and courtship together. So there is no definition. It's like it's one thing, and the truth is it is not one thing. So you find yourself, you've allowed a person who you're dating to get so deep into your life, yet there was no commitment. So you combined the dating and the courtship together. And of course, that no wonder many people get hurt. Many children who are born, many babies who are born in relationships, those children are born because there was sex involved at the point of dating. There are people who get married after meeting a person the first month or 2 weeks. You know completely nothing about that person. Apart from that, maybe you just know how they look physically. So what happens is that we are exposing yourself to so much harm that you would have protected yourself had you gotten to know the person better. So that's the definition I can give Amy.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for that definition and the difference. So basically, you have said that dating is basically sampling. It's like an interview phase just to know whether someone can fit in your life or not. Thank you so much for that differentiation. Now, Madam K, you've mentioned something. You've said that this is the point during courtship where you can introduce this person to maybe your family or your close friends. So, as we talk about this, let's ask what happens if my family or my friends reject this partner of mine that I truly have seen the point of introducing to people who are close to me?
Okay, maybe before we get to the point of this person or the family rejecting, remember I have done my homework. And I did my homework during dating. So I am okay. I am intellectually, I know we are compatible. I know we are compatible in values. I know we can be able to relate to one another. Now, a marriage relationship, although we involve family, it is not family that chooses for us. It is a personal decision. If I fully know and understand and love and I'm okay with who this person is, then I will be able to convince family the reason as to why it is this person and not any other. So sometimes because of not having our facts right, we are not able to even convince the other, especially family, to get to understand the why I have chosen this person. So if I have done my background check and I am okay, I am firm about it, I understand, I know, I have done all the checks right, and I know this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, I should respectively be able to involve parents and inform them about it. Are some parents going to reject the proposal even after you have done it respectively? Yes, sometimes they can. Of course, remember what we are seeking from parents is honor, respect, and of course their blessing. So this is where now you get build and get somebody else who can be able to understand you better and help you convince the parents that this is the person I've settled with, but you must have done your background check. Remember, courtship is not private. Courtship is not a private affair, although very many young people engage in courtship in secret. Courtship is not a private affair. And that's why so many people get hurt. Because, and I've interacted with young people who spent like 2-3 years with a married man without being aware that that person was married. Because the person convinced them, and it is on both sides, whether it is the woman or the man, the person convinced them that you should not share this with anyone else. And of course, you believed that that is the way it should be. the level when you, maybe dating can be a little bit private, because remember, you've not decided who that person is. So that one can be a little bit private. But the moment you have already committed yourself and you're saying, I would want to be in a relationship leading to marriage with this person, it cannot be public, it cannot be private. One of the red flags to tell you that you may be already exposing yourself to trouble is when you start having a private relationship with a person that you are courting. There must be something maybe that is being hidden. So of course, now that it is not only family, there can be a respected uncle, auntie, a member of the church, or someone in the community that you respect. You can be able to involve them now to take them to the parents so that you can convince them that this is the person you want to settle with. Of course, that other third party must have also done their due diligence, even as they go to speak on your behalf to the parents. But the key thing here is respect. But have you also done your due diligence?
Good to know. Good to know about the due diligence. Good to know about having to bring in a third party, and good to know that it's actually not a good thing, because that is actually one of the questions that we had been sent in today. Someone had asked, is it bad if my partner wants us to keep our relationship private? Or is it bad if someone doesn't want maybe to have us on? Is there a difference between someone who doesn't want to share the aspects of the relationship on social media, and is there also a difference between that and somebody who wants to actually hide it or keep it, in quotes, private?
Maybe just to hold on there, Amy. A relationship, we are imagining that this relationship is leading to marriage. Your normal family setup, the family we come from, because sometimes I think once we get into a relationship, it's like we think that this relationship will be different from the families we have grown in. Would you bring your father and mother having a discussion in the sitting room online?
No.
So why is it that we immediately we get into a relationship, the first thing we want to do is post them online? Personally, I think that is just exposing yourself too much, putting too much pressure on yourself. Two, we are living in a time when there is a lot of crimes that are happening online. A lot of things are happening. So for privacy purposes, it is important to remain, avoid especially having a relationship online. It does not add any value posting their photo, not unless you really want to put pressure on yourself. But if you can be able to post your parents having a discussion in the sitting room, then that is okay also to do when it comes to your family. Or when you're having very deep, intimate discussions as a familia, if you're comfortable taking them online, then also take your relationship online. I know that one might have hit a little bit the way we wouldn't want it to, but it is also for your own safety. One, safety. Two, you take yourself out of too much pressure, unnecessary pressure. Look at people who, especially our celebrities, who marry online, divorce online, I mean, get children online. That is too much pressure. This is pressure you don't want for yourself. So keep the relationship as private as possible online. But when we are talking privacy, we are talking about, make sure there's a friend, at least there's a family member who is aware of the presence of this person in your life. That is the aspect of public that we are talking about, but again, not going and broadcasting your relationship everywhere. Because again, remember, the fact that you are courting with someone does not give you the assurance that that person will get married to you. Relationships break, engagements break. So it is important also to guard yourself so that you are not broadcasting yourself everywhere. Now you have so much to do in case there is a breakup. So yes, I believe I've been able to answer that question on the area of social media, and especially the aspect of the public we are talking about is family and close friends. Those of us who are in church, we are talking about a youth leader. We are talking about your pastor. We are talking about the mentor, that person that you work with closely. Those are the people we are talking about should be aware of this relationship that is happening. Now, let me just take me back just a little bit as we were talking about the issue of privacy. Now, I was looking at a situation where I want my relationship to remain private, but it is a sexual relationship. Is that relationship private? No.
How?
Be able, like when you were talking about even telling parents or the parents have refused. If I began the relationship at a sexual level, that relationship is too intimate. In case of anything to break, if peradventure it breaks, I will be left in a place of a lot of mental, emotional turmoil. This is the major reason why, even in the Word of God, we are encouraged not to get into sexual relationships before marriage. Does sex before marriage make me more holy? No. It is for my own. I'm the one who is protecting myself. I am the one who is being protected from being hurt, from exposing myself to. Remember, we said courtship can break. So, in case 3, 4 of them break, how many of these relationships are you going to have? Or how many of these people are you going to have slept with by the time you're getting married? And how will your heart be left? I know, of course, we will bring the issue of sampling and getting to know whether you are sexually compatible. There is nothing about sexual compatibility. There is nothing like that. I know maybe in this generation, that statement does not make sense, but it is a fact. As long as I've exposed myself sexually, and it is not only sex, it is even the giftings we give. It is how we like exchange gifts, give money. Some young people are even taking people they are in a relationship with to college. They pay their school fees. And that is too much entanglement, such that the time I need to detach, it becomes very hard for me to detach because I am too entangled. We are doing things that we are supposed to be doing in marriage, in relationships. We are doing things that we are supposed to be doing in marriage, in relationships. Unfortunately, when we are supposed to be doing them in marriage, we don't do them. I am a counselor. I have done this several times. We are literally pushing couples to have sexual relationships in marriage. But now, when it is relationship, we are telling you, please don't expose yourself early. When we get into marriage, we don't want to do what we are supposed to be doing in a marriage relationship. The other day I was making fun and I was saying, if we did what we do in relationships in marriage, we would be having very healthy marriages. Our children would grow up in a very good environment. Our children will grow in an environment where there is love, there is support, there is a lot of confidence that is being built on them as they grow. But what do we do? The things we are supposed to be doing in marriage, we have transported all of them. They are the ones we do in relationships. Yet, how healthy our relationships are will determine how healthy our marriages will be. And when we talk marriage, we are talking about generations. We are even talking about our grandchildren. The way I manage this relationship will determine how my grandchildren will be. It is a very interesting scenario. But of course, we think it is fun. You know, as I was saying, relationships all the way from teenage, it is looked at as an entertainment zone. It is not. Boy, relationship between a man, a girl, and a gentleman and a girl, a lady, was not meant for entertainment. It was meant to cement a relationship that would become the foundation upon which a family will begin. The Bible says in Malachi that God desires a godly generation. So he desires that our relationship be so solid that we can be able to raise a godly generation. So, Emmy, before I start answering questions that have not been asked, allow me to end there.
Well, hey, Madam K, there you have given us a mouthful. You have slapped us in the face. You have just brought out some information that we might need to process there. So, actually, you have answered a question that somebody else had asked. Because someone had brought in a very interesting, I'll combine the two so that maybe in case there's something that you may have missed, you might just bring it up again. Someone asked, how long should I wait? And I know you have already answered me. Please, for the sake of the question, the person who asked the question, bear with me, okay? How long should I wait until I have sex in my relationship? Someone gave the option of, should it be 3 months? Should it be, that is 90 days? Should it be 1 month? And someone else went ahead to say, should it be after the engagement or the ratio? And that by the engagement, they actually were talking about when the person committed by giving them a ring. And now on the same line, because you have brought the two topics together, a gentleman asked, my girlfriend keeps asking me for money. My girlfriend keeps telling me to pay her rent, to buy things for her parents, and I feel like she is now basically my wife. Why do I feel uncomfortable with this situation? Yet I have no problem providing my money because I have it, but I don't want to feel used at the end of this. So maybe you can bring in a small discussion on that as well.
Let me still go back to the aspect of sex before marriage. I'll give the example of traffic lights. Traffic lights are not there to impress the cops. Traffic lights are meant for our safety on the road. So when we are told avoid sex before marriage, or not to have sex before marriage, This is basically for our own safety. We just described dating and we described courtship. Dating, we called it sampling. So if a person is sampling and I am part of the people that this person is sampling, do I want to avail myself to be sampled? And in the process of sampling, in what state am I being left? At the end of the day, how is the state of my heart? How is the mental status? How am I being left emotionally after the sampling? Sex has physical consequences, it has mental consequences, it has emotional consequences, and also medical consequences. So am I also ready, as I am being sampled, am I also ready to handle all those consequences involved? Peradventure, I am sampled by 10. This is a recipe for exposing myself to addictions already. Remember, we talked about addictions last time. Because one, I have exposed myself to things that I'm not supposed to be exposing myself to early or before time. So once I get into an addiction, how am I going to manage this addiction? And because the setup of a marriage relationship is a setup of a man and a woman, 1-1, getting married, not 1-10. How am I also going to manage one man or one woman in a marriage relationship in the future? So if I am already used to being sampled or allowing sampling, so purely the aspect and the issue of sex before marriage, it is for my own safety. I have been married for the last 18 years. And I will tell you, it is so important to not have a sexual confusion in your mind if you really want to enjoy sex in marriage. The way our bodies were made, and I know this information is not palatable in our generation, but whether this generation receives this message or not, it is the truth. The way the body has been wired, it has been wired to only enjoy sex from one person in a place of safety, trust, and of course, oneness. The moment you open those other doors, and this is not meant to condemn anyone, the moment we open those doors, there is a lot of work we will require to do when our time now reaches and we are supposed to be in a marriage relationship. It will be very hard to be satisfied by one person. So you will always have appetites that you cannot be able to manage or control. So do we want to put ourselves in all this? People are killing each other. People are killing children. Marriages are breaking because of infidelity. These infidelities do not begin in marriage. Those infidelities begin when we are teenagers. They don't begin when you are married. It is something I thought it was fun. But by the time I am getting married now, I am in a practice that I don't know how to stop. And this is what exposes us to serious marital problems. You asked about giving money and receiving money in a relationship. I said we want to do things that are meant for marriage in a relationship. And when we get married, we don't do them. How many people are fighting today in marriages? Because as spouses, they cannot be able to share finances. Or one spouse is denying the other, or one does not want maybe to use their finances for what it's meant to be. Mostly when we get into a relationship, and I'm imagining we are talking to adults here, 20 and above, or 19 and above. For the last 19 years, let's say 19, it is not this man who has been sustaining you. So how do you become now the responsibility of this person? Again, this is pressure. You are exposing ourselves to pressure that we cannot be able to sustain. And if a relationship is tagged on what I receive from the other person, there is no love in that. The Bible talks about love being unconditional. I know, again, this is not palatable. It does not sound very nice. But the truth is that if the reason as to why I see this person as a nice person to me, it is because of what I get from him. What about that day when they are not able to raise that 10,000, that rent, take me to that high-end hotel? Then what happens? One of the reasons why young people, even especially campus-going students in our nation today, are being killed, it is that aspect of dependability. I mean, once you've gotten this guy, now he becomes a cash cow. So he needs to bring money and bring money and bring money. And of course, you know for sure, I am just receiving this money because I'm also having this other one that I receive money from. One of the things I tell young people, especially the men, and those who are listening to me now, if you have a girl that the only thing that they get from you is money, please, if you know an exit door near you, run away. You are in trouble. That is not a relationship. And the truth is, you may not see it now. Because me as a woman, I can dramatize to you how much I love you and how much you mean heaven and earth to me. But the truth is that I am doing all this to make sure that you get into your pocket and give me more and more. Relationship that is healthy should not be tagged on what we receive from the other. Am I saying we should not give money? We should, we can, but it is not a must. Am I saying that it is wrong to give gifts? Until a relationship is defined, avoid gifts. Otherwise, you will not be making informed choice. You will be making a choice because of what you receive. So the person, the one, it is not your mind speaking. It is not your emotions speaking. It is not your logic speaking, but it is the gifts that you have received. They are the ones that are saying, I cannot fail to accept them. You see, they have been giving me this and the other. So remember, we talked about a long-term relationship that is so important in connection with our future. So if it is tagged on money, the truth is there will be a time when that money will not be there. So does the love expire? Amy,
Hey, I'm telling you today. Today, I think some people will just have to go and re examine whatever situation they are in and just ask themselves very difficult questions and give themselves even harder answers in those particular moments. Now, Madam K, you have spoken something about when you are talking about the sex before marriage and how we need to protect ourselves. And I have basically heard you say that this was like a boundary that God gave so that we can avoid a lot of pain and anguish and even diseases and things that are not good for the place out of marriage, right? However, what if someone has already engaged in sex before marriage? What if someone is already doing this? What if someone currently is in a relationship like that? What if there's even children involved? And what if you already have a child outside of the current relationship you are in, and you are thinking about now introducing the child to the current partner? So I think this is just basically a discussion on the children that come in before a marriage or an actual defined relationship, and also how to come out of the situation that you are in if that is where they are right now.
maybe let me go back a little bit to teenage. Our sexual urges or our sexual development happens at the level at the point of teenage, and because of lack of guidance and counsel, remember, even as I'm mentioning these words, sex and everything, it is not a very easy conversation, especially for us Africans and where we are coming from. So a lot of youth and young people engage in sexual relationships without information. So that does not mean then that we deserve condemnation. That does not mean that that is the end of our lives. That does not mean that you cannot be able to begin a marriage relationship in the future that is going to work. Are you going to suffer challenges? Are you going to have struggles? Are you going to have mistrust? Are you going to struggle with emotional baggage? Are you going to suffer doubt in a relationship? The truth is yes. Because remember, these are boundaries we have already crossed. So they will have consequences. One of the greatest challenge that, of course, many young people face when somebody has been in broken relationships that have been hurtful is that it becomes very hard to connect in a healthy relationship in the future, because there is this fear that is left within us of wondering, is it going to really work? But the good thing about restoration, or the good thing about just being able to go back to God, there is a way He is able to just take us back to the position that we were supposed to be from the very beginning. But remember, the intentionality aspect has to be there, such that the moment I have realized I was on a wrong path, I make an informed choice to realign myself to the purposes of God and do right. Having made it intentional to heal from the past, not carrying the baggages of the past and getting with them into the future. Because the truth is that, of course, someone who has maybe been abused sexually when they were younger, somebody who has any emotional pain connected to sex, it might become very hard to get into a healthy sexual relationship. We will start to struggle. So if you identify that that is where you have been, seek help, heal. But please don't take excuses. Don't say, I'm in this. There's no way I can be able to get out of this. You know me, I got addicted. You know me, I got this struggle. No. Be intentional and heal. Will you heal completely? Yes. Because the Bible says that whoever the Lord sets free is free indeed. He sets us free and he gives us a new beginning. But the intentionality has to be there. And remember, even as we are talking about all this, there is all these other channels that are connected to sexuality, issues of homosexuality, issues of pornography, issues of masturbation. These are things, not that now I stop having sex with a person or this person who is I'm in a relationship with, and now I get to masturbation or I get to pornography. I am still exposing myself to stuff that I cannot be able to heal from. So it is intentionality. I have seen people intentionally want to heal and they are enjoying marriage. Are they having struggles? Yes, they will. Because it is the same way like when if someone was to get saved today and they are pregnant, the pregnancy does not go because I got saved. So somehow I will go through with the pregnancy, give birth to the child. But the truth is that because now I am free, I am at peace, I am healed, I will raise this child in a better environment than if I was carrying bitterness and anger and unforgiveness and all these other baggages. Someone who maybe got into this space and maybe is having a child, again is bringing the same to the same place of healing. Because remember, these issues, the place they hurt the most is our emotions. Our emotions live wrecked. And what happens when we are emotionally hurting? We pass that hurt to the next generation. The people who suffer most from our emotional pain are our children. So if I still pass and carry this pain into my relationship, into my future, I will be hurting my children. And it is unconsciously. It is not like you want. There is nobody who decides that now I will hurt my children the way I was hurt. No. It is just that as long as that emotional pain is there and it has not healed, it is going to affect the people close to you. And the closest to us are our children. We may not see it now when we are young, but the truth is once we get children and they are growing up, we will just find ourselves spilling over that pain to them. So heal, be intentional, be willing, open up to heal, open up to get restored. But also, just like Christ said, I will tell you, like he told the woman caught in adultery, I will tell you, go and sin no more. Now you know. Now you know. We cannot say we know and still continue in the same environment and expect to see different results. So it is because I have known, I can choose to sin no more. Amy.
Wow, great. Wow. So go and sin no more. Now that you know better, do better. Basically, today Madam K, you are just slapping us in the face with facts and telling us you have to be better human beings and just do better, choose better for yourself so that your children also can reap the benefits of the good decisions that you make right now.
Let
Wow.
me just an interception.
Mm-hmm.
Youth, young people, as we make choices for those spouses, that girl, that girl who you feel, I mean, she's the my heartbeat. As you look at that guy and you're saying, this is the one. Please choose. Please choose, knowing that you're choosing the mother of your children. Choose knowing that you're choosing the father of your children. And let us get further. You're choosing the grandfather of your children. You're choosing the grandmother of your children. So even as we, sometimes you know the way we choose and we are like, he's the one I want, even if people don't want it, I have no problem with him. Please, as you choose, please remember it is your father, the father of your children, that when your children are in teenage, you will have confidence. Peradventure, one day they ask you, Mom, why did you choose my father? You can have the confidence to answer that question. And young people, this is the time. We have all the time to choose. Please don't choose right.
Whew. Hey, Madam K, you should have told us to come with a glass of water or something to just cool things down because this is not simple for some of us to take in. But thank you so much for the information because I know it's going to bring some light to some dark areas in our lives or areas that we had put in hiding or areas that we did not want to speak about because of our culture and them being discussions that are basically termed as taboo. So thank you so much for giving us this chance to learn as much as possible and to be able to just make the right choices and have the right people in our homes because these are not just our people but they will also be the fathers of our children, the mothers of our children, the grandmothers of our great of our grandchildren and the grandfather. Wow, just wow. So someone also asked, it is closer to what you have been talking about, and they asked, should I marry her because she got pregnant? And the other question is that is closely related to that is, am I wrong for wanting to know if my partner can have children before I marry them or not?
Uh, thank you, Emmy, for that question. You've just asked whether I marry because they are pregnant. We would not be having that question if there was no sex in the question. But because we've jumped the hurdle, now this is a discussion that you really have to sit down with yourself and also ask yourself, you as that father of that child who is being carried in the womb, would you want to be born out of wedlock? Would you want to be born and your father is somewhere, somewhere, you don't even know where he is? Would you want to be born like that? I know a lot is being said today, and I hear a lot of don't marry because somebody is pregnant. Yes, of course, pregnancy is not a reason for marriage. But where do we place this child? So even as we are making the decision of whether to marry or not, where do we place this child? There is this narrative of baby mommy and mommy daddy and all that conversation which is there, especially now, and co-parenting and all these things that have come, of course, with what we call modernization. For me, I call it just being lost. The impact these things leave on our children. I sit with these people, I sit with these children in the counseling rooms. And when you hear the pain of a child who has been looking for the father for years, the pain is too painful. I wish that sexual act never happened on that day when that child was born. So if we can be able to correct these things, they may not have an impact on us now, like at this point. But what about this child that you've just given birth to? Who will they call their father? Who do you want them to call their father? I know, of course, sex is looked at as, and I said, we are living in a time where it's looked at as fun. It is not. What we call pregnancy or ball or what, those are human beings. It is just a human being like you. It is a human being like any other prominent person in the world. That is the person being carried in that womb. When we come to that realization, we can become a little bit more careful or even more empathetic when it comes to instances like this. So I will not answer that question straight, Amy. I will not say yes or no. I am more concerned about the baby. When that child is 20 and they are looking for their father, you as the father, who do you want that child to say is their father? What was that other question?
The other question was, am I wrong for wanting to know if my partner can have or bear children before marrying them?
I will answer that again with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen couples who have been married for 10 years without children?
Yes.
So how will you know if your spouse will be able to get children by having sex?
Noted.
It is just a lie. You know the challenge with there's this verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs chapter 5, from around verse 5 there to is it 5? Yes. From around verse 5 there, it talks about do not be wise in your own understanding. You know those statements of wanting to know whether the person is going to have children or not? It's just being wise in your own understanding. It is the same one that makes people say, I want to know whether they are functioning. I will answer that by saying that when we are buying a brand new car, most of us in Kenya, we don't have that privilege of getting brand new cars from the car dealers. We get third party or fifth party or even 10th party owner of the car. Now, 50th, 10th, second, third owners of cars are allowed to test drive. Cars that are brand new from the dealer, you cannot even ignite the key. So sometimes we do test driving because their second, third, fourth, fifth party.
That was short and sweet, but I don't think it was sweet. It was more of sour, but thank you so much for that. I think that is one analogy that will stick. If it is a third, fifth, seventh, 10th party vehicle, test drive. But if it is a first owner, zero mileage vehicle, even testing the ignition is not permitted. So I think it's up to us to know where to place one another. But I think
You pay for it. You pay for it first.
you pay before you do anything with the vehicle. Wow. Um, wow. I think it's important to also just reiterate the fact that restoration is possible, that even if the things have happened or things are happening or you're in situations currently that are not sounding like truth as according to what Madam K is telling us, according to also what the Bible says about relationships, don't lose hope. Restoration is possible, and you just have to be intentional about the healing process so that you can actually have something good for yourself and even for children to come and the grandchildren who are to come from these relationships as well. Now, maybe to just shift gears a little bit, now that we are talking about vehicles, just to shift a little bit, someone asks, um, I think I have a manipulative partner in that they withhold things that they would usually give to me, like sex, like time, like money, like food. Like if they cook for me and then suddenly we are not in good or speaking terms and they are withdrawing all these things so that they can either get their way or they can, just hurt me in this situation. Sometimes they give me silent treatment. How and this actually hurts me and I feel a pain in my throat and in my chest. How should I go about this, and is there a better way of dealing with disagreements?
Allow me to connect that question with whether I should give a, when I should receive money or receive giftings or receive. Now, if our relationship is connected to things I receive and get, that will become the mode of conflict resolution. So one way of controlling the situation, because this is purely a manipulation. So if our relationship is based on things we give to each other and receive from each other, so it will be about withdrawing and giving. So the basis or the foundation of this relationship, first of all, is wrong. Because even the things you are mentioning, cooking for me, those are things that are done in marriage. They are not done in a relationship. Cooking for me, having sex, giving money, those are things that are happening, are supposed to be happening in a relationship. I feel like our biggest problem in this generation is that we have just mixed up things. We have mixed up relationships such that even by the time somebody gets married, you're not very sure when were you married? When did you get married? If you are asked, like, when did you people get married, you're not very sure because maybe you got married 5 years back and you're thinking you are in a relationship. So the foundation of our relationship determines what will sustain it. Maybe let me define a little bit. What are these foundations we are looking for? Now, I am looking for a person that we share values. Values in terms of faith, values in terms of family, values in terms, of course, of work ethics, a number of value systems that I live for. If I skip this step, and in the second week of meeting a stranger, a total stranger, I skip the point of knowing whether we share values with this person. 2 weeks or a month into getting to know this person, I engage in a sexual relationship. What I have simply done is that I have sent my emotions before my intellect. So I will not be reasoning with my mind. I'll be doing things out of emotional feelings and high. So it is the emotional high that is explaining to me what to do at what point. But if I follow the right way, and I first use my intellect before engaging emotions, I am able to see a narcissist, I am able to see a manipulator, I am able to see a liar, I am able to see somebody that I cannot withstand, I am able to see a cheater, I am able to see all these things before I get into the life of this person. So a relationship should always begin at an intellectual level, spiritual, let's say spiritual, intellectual, then come to emotional. Do we share the same spiritual values? Do we share the same, do we reason the same? Can you imagine being in a relationship, in a relationship where everything you say, the person says yes? Do we buy this house? Yes. Do we buy this car? Yes. Do we go to town? Yes. Do we go to Dubai? Yes. I mean, that person just says yes to everything. What kind of a relationship are you in? How we get into such places, it is when we allow our emotions to be the ones leading us. The next mess we do is when we start receiving gifts and favors before we have gotten to understand who this person is. If it is money that is standing on my way, I meet this guy, and within a month, I am already receiving money to the tune of 100,000. Every time I see this guy, I will not see him. I will see 100,000. So even when they call me, whatever name they do, I am remembering the 100K I was given, and you shut up. So the moment we have those are already, the foundation is already shaky. In fact, there is no foundation. And that is where now the manipulation comes in, because I just need to add the 100 to 200, and you bow to everything I want. I just need to make the 100, 500,000. And I mean, you don't mind whether everything else comes down, and you're like, yes, let's do this. So when the foundation is wrong, whether it is conflicts, whether it is how we talk, whether it is communication, whether it is even agreement, there is nothing you can agree. Because in the first place, it was money talking, not you. Or it was sex talking.
I mean, that is actually a question that someone else had brought in that you have just mentioned. I'm just going to read it out so that you can also hear it, and the person says, my boyfriend slash husband, you see, they even call them boyfriend slash husband. My boyfriend slash husband provides money, food, and even shops for my parents every month. He never lets me touch his phone, though. Sorry, he never lets me touch his phone though. And I know he has multiple other girlfriends. But I know I am the main one because at least he comes home to me every day. Why do I feel bad?
Okay, first of all, I don't know really what relationship that is. I don't know who is a husband, boyfriend. And this is what I said is the confusion of our generation. Now, assume this person has a baby. Will they introduce this child to this father as a boyfriend or as a father? Who will they tell the child this person is? The fact that already there's all this doubt is that the gifts and all these other things are the ones that are the foundation of the relationship. And these are the relationships definitely that will be very shaky. Because these are relationships you are even asked, where does your husband work? You have no idea. Questions like, how old is your husband? You don't know even what that is. Where do they come from? No idea. Because what matters in this scenario is what I receive, what I get. Now, unfortunately, about this relationship, and these are the relationships, if we are not very careful, young people, these are the ones that we are, the love triangles that we hear in the media every day. Because I have invested in you. In fact, that is what they say. I have invested in you. Investing in me is buying for me clothes, giving me money, all those things. That is what is called investing in me. What is this that can be more important than your very own life? What is this that can be so important? Why is it that we have put money to be so important than our own soul? So I don't know how to answer that, because one, it is not a relationship and it is not a marriage. I don't know how to categorize it. I don't know that answer.
Okay. So basically that one is a clear answer for that person to leave the situation immediately. And just to understand that hapo hakuna kitu, there is something missing and they need more clarity in their lives to avoid
No,
all of this confusion.
Emmy, there may be something,
Yes.
because you see there is a transaction happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is a business transaction, you see, you will remain with it.
Okay.
So there is something that is happening, but
Okay.
it is not a marriage and it is not a relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, but there is something. It has a name.
Business transaction.
Something
Okay.
close to that.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Maybe just to switch gears a little bit, I can see we are almost close to the time we had set for this. Maybe just to answer one more question, and then please feel free, guys, to let your comments be seen. Kindly put your reactions on the chat. Kindly send in your questions in case you have any, so that we can see whether we can have a little bit of time to just squeeze them in. And maybe Madam K, you can answer for us this one, and then we can see whether to schedule another meeting for the same conversation to just finish it up. So this person says, I feel like an emotional punching bag to my partner. What should I do? And just to tie that with another one, Someone said, my boyfriend, no, sorry, that's not the one. Someone said that, sorry, let me just find it. Yes, they said that my boyfriend hit me the other day and gave me a lot of gifts afterwards and was remarkably sorry for causing me that kind of pain. I I'll be honest, this is not the first time that he has hit me. He has hit me a number of times before, and given me amazing treatment after that. I now find myself wanting or missing the fighting so that I can actually get the gifts afterwards. I think I need help. I just don't know how to get the help or where to get it from. Please help.
Um, of course, the, the what we just had there is unhealthy. It's an unhealthy relationship. The person, the receiver of the gifts, is unhealthy. If you can tolerate abuse, there is something deep seated in your heart and emotional status that is so hurting that you don't mind continuing to be hurt. The person hurting this person equally is hurting, because we all have friends. For them to be our friends, we don't beat them. For our friends to remain our friends, we don't beat them. So if the person that you are calling supposedly a person you're in a relationship with leading to marriage is the one who is a punching bag, then you have a problem. The person being punched also has a problem. So there is such a heavy emotional need in the person being punched that they maintain this relationship because they feel if this person leaves them, what they receive from this person will also have left. So simply, I'm talking of a person whose worth has been stripped off and really has a lot of pain within, such that they can accommodate somebody beating them and even receive giftings from that person who is hurting them. It is unfortunate. My prayer is, if you are in such a setup, kindly seek professional help, because there are so heavy underlying issues that you have never thought of dealing with. And the truth is that this person who hits you and gives you gifts one day will come hit you and kill you. And there will be no receiver of the gift, because the person is hurting and you're equally hurting. So Emmy, maybe because I can see a number of us here, I don't know whether we can get their feedback and maybe call a next time so that we don't deny them a feedback.
Wow. Thank you so much, Madam K. We still have a lot of questions, and I know we are even going to get so many more questions for us to discuss again. So maybe we can just take a minute or two to tell us who you are, where you are from, and what you have gotten so far from this particular conversation, and whether it is bringing any impact to you. So maybe